Chucky Boy Chalk.
Hello.
Brought up.
Yeah, welcome to the studio.
Oh, mahalos.
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. We talked with you last week, and at the Kauai Museum, and you kind of took us on a nice little journey through like some historic stuff that honestly I never know. So I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Having you on is we've had a bunch of people on, and, like we like all of them, but
yeah,
we're pretty stoked about this one because for us, it's choke like learning, like learning about stuff that like I don't know, and maybe I should, like maybe like that's my responsibility to like learn that kind of stuff. So I'm pretty excited about just hearing all the stuff that you have, all the like wealth of information,
Sure. I'll feed off you guys.
Yes. So, for those of you tuning in at home, all over the United States and just in the world in general, maybe even outer space, Chucky Boy, this podcast, you go all over the place, boo. For those of you tuning in, I just want to let kind of just introduce our very special guest, Chucky Boy Chalk. He's the director of the Kauai Museum here on the Garden Island.
Yep.
And Chucky Boy, how you got started were you always into history? You mean and where are you from, Chucky Boy? Where are you from?
Originally.
Yeah.
From Kaneohe.
Okay.
Originally.
East Side boy.
Yeah.
Oh.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
In
Kaneohe.
the valley.
Yeah. What valley is that?
Haiku.
Haiku. Okay.
Ioleka'a.
Hey, Haiku. Oh, Stairway to Heaven over there, huh?
Oh, that's our backyard.
For real?
Oh, yeah. We would run up and down that place.
Wow.
But we would get tired and call our uncle. He ran the cable car at the time.
Okay.
The yellow cable car.
Wait, they used to have a cable car.
Yeah.
You could just go up.
Well, they would take all of the who's who to maintain the antennas up there
Okay. Oh.
for the Navy.
How high up used to go? All the way?
About 9 football fields somewhere around
Oh,
there.
guy.
Just kind of guesstimation.
Yeah, yeah. I play football, so I get it.
Oh, okay. 50,000
Yeah.
rulers.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that is how much you had to run when you got in trouble.
Yeah.
Like, okay, guys. Like,
Bro. Yeah, I went to one of the start trails a few years back, and then but we just did go check them out. It was all gated off and stuff. And the auntie over there who lives at the end of the cul-de-sac, she had scream at us. Who you related?
I think it's my cousin.
For real. They get dogs. For real. They get dogs.
That whole area before anyone moved in was all family.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, to her defense, I mean, she was saying that when that hike had blow up and stuff, they couldn't even leave for get to work. There was cars parked all
Double blocking them.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That became that's a major problem.
Okay, so you from Kaneohe originally.
Yes, sir.
How was that growing up on that side,
No, our family is from there. And so the entire Ahupua'a, as we say, the valley is all family. It was grandpa's children and cousins, aunties, uncles.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, we had our own swimming area, our swimming pond, our pond called Makawili.
Okay.
And if you say Makawili, everyone knows where you're from.
Oh, okay. It's one of those zones where if you know, you know. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
But most families had their own swimming holes. That's where you learn how to swim.
Yeah.
Even if you don't know how, they throw you in.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah. If my father listening, he would say, yep.
Yeah.
The 10 feet he throw me.
Yeah.
The deep end.
Even the shallow end, they show like freak out.
Okay, and then so from Kaneohe,
Yep.
your family is from there. When did you make your trek to the Garden Island?
1989, to be exact. It was I did a concert at the Shell, and it became my final concert.
At the Shell?
Yep.
Okay. And then you came to Kauai.
Mm-hmm. And never went back.
Oh, wow.
I met my wife.
Yeah. Smart move, brother. So you said you did one show at Shell. What kind of
Okay. Well, it was a fundraiser, I think, for Hawaii Canoe Racing Association, OHCRA, the state for the state races. They were raising funds, head to Molokai for the state races.
Okay.
Nice.
And, so the concert was there, and billing was good because it had Makaha Sons, Olomana, just neat Hawaiian bands.
Yeah. No, all the
Yeah.
classics.
All the hitters, back then.
So that one I teamed up with my cousin. So it was my cousin Teresa Bright, and I. And on bass we had this guy named Kata Maduli.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
Kata Maduli. Who is McKenna Maduli to him?
McKenna is his daughter.
Oh, wow.
All right, on.
Mean. Right on, Sister McKenna. Yeah.
Yeah.
I worked with her before. She get her own show, yeah.
Yeah.
She got a real show, But
Full studio.
yeah. Oh, interesting. Perfect.
Yeah,
There we
sorry.
go.
Sorry.
No, it's not your fault. The things are sensitive. These
You like
brothers.
start again, we can.
No, we're all good.
Hey, Chucky boy, and guess what? The power with this technology, we just had start again.
Like, you're not gonna even notice the difference when you watch them.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's gonna be like, oh,
Okay, right on.
yeah.
Appreciate
You're
that.
not gonna notice nothing.
Yeah. We don't like you yell because when you
Hey.
talk, you just sound real.
Smooth.
You get one real nice C note.
I just thinking of the show right now. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. You played music and stuff. And when we were at Kauai Museum, you said that you were friends with Kalapana, or you played with them, or what was that again?
Well, DJ and I, the lead guitarist.
Yes.
In fact, we were all friends, Mac. In fact, I met my wife through Mackie and his wife.
Wow.
Mackie Ferry.
Okay.
At her birthday.
Who's your wife's birthday?
Mackie's wife and my wife were friends.
Okay.
And at the party, we were the only ones that were single.
Aye! and ready to mingle, apparently.
It's kind of like time. Okay.
How old you was?
I don't remember. I don't know, 30 something.
Okay. Oh, one young
Yeah.
lion, huh? One mano in the water, just hunting for the blood. No, so can you recall that night? Was there a lot? Was there singing? Were you winking?
I remember that night after the concert, we went to a friend's house, which we normally do. You gather, and so it was Mac, Teresa, just the people that played at the concert.
Okay.
The musicians gather, and just like good old Mackie, he'll play all night and all day, just play music. He's a radio. He's a librarian of any songs.
Wow.
We just sit around and talk story, kind of critique the night.
Bro, that must have been so mean.
Well, it was like kind of would you say it was kind of like a small circle back in the day, like the musician scene?
Yeah, you had your little...
Like everybody kind of, like at least somewhat knew each other, acquaintances.
I think there was a guy named Crash Kealoha. He was the founder of the Hawaii Academy of Recording Artists, the Hoku Awards. It was linked to Crash. Crash was the glue to everybody. In the old days, it was called KCCN Radio, and that was the main Hawaiian radio station.
Yeah.
And for all musicians, if you get your song on that station, you hit a home run.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they used to have concerts at Coco Palms when I was a kid.
Ah.
Because I remember my dad would like close he used to own a flower shop.
Sure.
They would close, and then all the employees and us would go, and it was always like kind of that zone right there at Coco Palms.
Well, everybody loved Coco Palms back in the day. They were great hosts, but Kauai was always a running joke back in Honolulu. If you're playing Kauai, be prepared to be back in the 60s.
How come? It's just
'Cause it
the
was.
vibe. Oh, I see what you
Because
mean.
it was.
Old school.
Well, old school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of grass. That's the thing. Not that much speakers.
Different from doing concerts in Maui. It's like Honolulu. I mean, you got crazy fans, fanatics. When you come Kauai, it's like, oh, how's it, brothers? Just laid back.
That's nice.
Yeah. So you come here, it's like coming to a bigger Molokai.
Yes.
true,
Yeah. Bro. Minus all the deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But guess what? We get hot bread now. They come over here. I trip out.
They sell them on the side of the road over here.
that.
Yeah. Wanted blueberry cream cheese all day long, brother. I knock on that metal door until they answer.
I like that.
Yeah. Oh, mean. That's cool. And you would play music with them often, link up.
Yeah, after hours, because we all had our own bands. Another thing about that times was they didn't have people like you. I mean, there was one guy, the entertainment section in a newspaper, his name was Wayne Harada. And Wayne Harada was the guy that put you on the map. So it was Crash on radio, Wayne in print ad and media. If Wayne mentioned your name, it's an endorsement.
You're set, yeah.
Then the doors are open.
Oh, wow.
Wide open. So people are always looking at his column. One of those things in music, right place, right time.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah, that is interesting because we do talk about music back in the day and just the access to it and how you would find it, or you mean here?
or back in the day, yeah, the record producers were always on the lookout. It's not like today where you can record at home and
put it on
if you had
YouTube or something.
Yeah, if you had a producer, that's another gauge. So the gauges were producer,
Mm-hmm.
Crash, because he plays your music on air,
Yeah.
and Wayne Harada.
Yeah.
And then other entertainment writers came in after that.
You write a lot, yeah? Still to this day.
Yeah, I continue to write. That's something I just love.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean anything, but I consistently write and arrange music
Nice.
about what I see now today.
Oh, observational. Huh?
Yeah, and it goes on the shelf. But but people come calling, and I said, okay, let me dust some of these songs off here.
What are some songs? And I think maybe some listeners would be super. It's interesting. What are some songs that you have written or have been a part of that you think people might not know that still play today?
There's a couple that, for example, are part of Polynesian Voyaging Society, and it's always great to support that organization. I'm on the fundraising side, and so I teamed up with Jack Johnson and Paula Funga, wrote a song, and we recorded it, and then we played it in New York. But it was a great fundraiser. Yeah, that was a fun experience. And I think another one is, that right off the top of my head, is if Iz was alive today, we were preparing him to do a concert in Japan. And so I wrote the first sumo song for him, with him. If you hear it, the hook is the Akebono, Sashimaru, and Konishiki. Okay, but it's to honor our local sumo tori.
Yeah.
And it was an instant hit. So now you prepare for his concert. And of course, Izzy looks like one of them. He looks like a sumo tori, right?
Yeah.
Right? So a neat story behind that one is when they mentioned that he's coming to do a concert, it was sold out like in half an hour. I think 150,000.
Holy
seats.
crap.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's mental.
Yeah.
In half an hour.
Oh, that Japan market different, no?
Yeah. And but he got sick. And he went to the hospital and never came out.
Oh.
But he did finish the recordings and stuff, but he never came out. And then, if anything, those two songs, and the other one was that I enjoy though a lot is penning a song with Brother Nolan.
Nice.
Yeah, and that was also a fundraiser for the Voyaging Society. Just a simple title, Hokulea Hiki Analia. And but it's a neat song, though, fun song. So, if anything, those three songs I had fun doing.
Interesting.
Yeah.
This is like a personal question. What was your connection or relationship with Bradda Is them?
Oh, I can tell you many stories.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm all ears.
You're all ears.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Because I see some videos of him performing live at Waikiki Shell on Facebook sometimes, and I'm like, man, I just wish I was able to,
you would hit it off with him. He was very witty, fast, and just fun. He was 24/7 crazy, naturally witty. That's why. But there's some stories I can share. But I think right off the top of my head is Kaua'i Beach. He had a little, like a shanty town, a shack, one of those beach shacks. This is before it had homeless people, you know what I mean? Before it had people there.
Yeah.
But he had his own beach shack. And when they weren't playing, that's where Iz was. He was down at Kaua'i. It's before Yokohama, past Surfing Beach in Makaha.
Okay.
And he was one of the greatest body surfers when he was in the water, everybody gets out.
Oh, wow.
Because you want to watch him body surf. His beautiful brown skin just kind of, and at Kaua'i, the body surfing, the waves there were just like made for It's like he called for those waves, and he would just float through that wave. He was such a great body surfer that not many knew.
Wow.
Yeah. But it was a beautiful thing to watch. And his skin on this just shine. I always remember that, how beautiful his skin was. And what else after that? You just had the hit. Okay, brothers, go catch the fish or whatever. And they go all diving and stuff. And he plays all day and night, play music. Just sing. He just sings and sings and sings. And of course, in between every song, there's crazy jokes, of course. But he was always fun to be around. He did have the serious side. In fact, a good story is I introduced Dickie Chang. Dickie wanted to interview him, so we flew over from here. And on camera, Dickie says, in fact, off camera, Izzy said, "Do not talk about my family. You can go anywhere with your questions, but don't ask questions about my family." I guess Dickie forgot. He said, Tell me about your wife and daughter." Izzy moved the mic and just grabbed him and said, "What I told you." And I won't say the rest, but it wasn't a nice thing to say. It's like, oops. Yeah. But it's the first time I seen him do something like that. But he's real. He has no filter. So if he says something, he means it.
Okay.
Yeah. But other than that, good guy. Always fun. Many stories. We did a lot of concerts together throughout the islands. We all had this friend, Charlie Russell, on Maui. Every year they would do a fundraiser. Half of the funds would go to the softball team, and the other half would go to some nonprofit. They made a lot of money. It was big.
Yeah.
But it was the days when Aloha Airlines would take, in fact, Aloha Airlines were the only airlines that would take Izzy because he needed a forklift. They did that for years and years. They needed to lift him up onto the plane. Hawaiian Air wouldn't do that. So he only rode Aloha.
Wow.
But these were the days, didn't have TSA or high security. So when we go to Maui, and Charlie Russell was the owner of Trans-Hawaiian buses. I got to be careful of what I say.
Hey, all good.
Because everything was done in cash.
Yeah. Yeah.
But these were days when the plane lands, the limousine comes right to the stairs.
Oh, some red carpet kind of stuff. Huh?
Full on, because it was Charlie. Oh, yeah. And who was the security? Maui's best. The police department was security.
MPD.
Oh, MPD.
Yeah.
Oh, la la.
But anyway, the night went on. But it was Pat's party. And it was a party that El Pacino would enjoy.
That level.
Anyway, but it was memorable because he thought Pat Morita was funny. Had him spinning on his finger.
Mean, bro.
But those were really, really, really fun days. And the music was wide open. Not all the same style music. And one of the oldest bands now is Olomana. You get the Makaha Sons, but not the original.
Yeah. Also, Olomana is original.
Well, Beaumont died too. Robert, Olomana was Robert Beaumont and Jerry Santos. I will always remember the night he passed. Yeah, it was the birth of Oha. We did a huge concert at the Iolani Palace to create awareness to the Hawaiian people and beyond what Oha is and who is Oha, to introduce Oha. And you had everybody there, Walter Ritty, all of the Ho'olawe. But they were all there endorsing and voicing Oha.
What year was this?
Jeez.
About?
I believe it was in the 80s. But I remember that night only because it was Robert Beaumont's birthday, the other half of Olomana.
I see.
And so his birthday party was at his home in Kailua. And so there was a select few that was invited. And I don't know if Izzy's uncle is Mo Keale, Uncle Mo. Well, Mo was there. Mo was one of the hosts for the party, along with Crash. And so probably had about 25 of us musicians, like one big circle. That stays with me forever because that's the night he passed away. It was a memorable time because he always said, if I'm going to go, it's got to be with music. But Jerry keeps the song going.
No, that's crazy because that's like such an iconic time in like Hawaii.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, because I mean, all the music's still played now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's still like revered. Like all the different bands, all the different artists, all the different stuff. Like it definitely hasn't like faded. In fact, I think it might have even gotten stronger recently in the past 10 years.
It goes in cycles, yeah.
Yeah.
That I love because, I was never a traditionalist personally. And I was always on the bumpy road. But, yeah, that time, putting it bluntly, if you didn't have something to offer, get out.
Talent-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you never bring nothing to the table. You're not around.
Yeah, and don't copy anybody. Yeah, so if there was another Olamana, never made it. There's only one Olamana. There's only one Makaha Sons. Only one Peter Moon band who became the Brothers Cavs.
Yeah.
Wow.
That kind of level of musicians.
Yeah, I mean, it's super interesting too. Like, obviously had like mainstream music and whatever, like mainline kind.
Sure.
But like growing up, honestly, all my dad and mom played, majority was just all like Hawaii music.
Oh,
Like Brothers Cosmero, like
yeah.
like, I mean, and then more later on, like Kili Raichel, like different stuff.
Sure.
Like that's all they played. It's interesting because I never learned certain songs that was super popular, like pop culture wise, till like my 20s. Because growing up, it just never got played at the house or in the car, or because they had like their cassette tapes. They just like play those things, flip it over, play it again. You know what I mean?
In a loop, huh?
Side A, side B. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, no, I remember that. Oh no, they had. I don't know if I've ever. They had like an 8-track player in the house.
Yeah, there were 8 tracks.
Yeah. No, I remember. Like, I don't even know how to use it, but I just remember like I was super little, and it was sitting in the corner.
Bro, tier 1, tier 2, 4-4.
I don't even know. The thing just looked like when Nintendo. I don't know. But Hawaii had that unique thing of it was very like it had its own like sense of like place when it came to music, right?
Yes, we did. When you say stuff like that, I remember Crash trying to make noise. The Hoko Awards were created 2 reasons. One was always on a Monday night, because most musicians were off. It was by design, so they could get together and be together. It was totally for musicians only, period. Crash's whole idea of this. But to honor the legacy of music, right? And the other reason he created this was to make noise so the Grammys get wind of it. And it worked. Because now it's sanctioned. It's sanctioned by the Grammys, the Hoku Awards. This whole idea of his really worked because now, but here's the problem. When they finally met with the who's who of the Grammys, the question was, so Crash, how do we categorize Hawaiian music? Because you have Sweet Leilani, you have Bradda Is. You have music from A to Z. In Hawaii, our genre of Hawaiian music is just wide open. You have Days of Hawaii calls. You have music today. Where do you put them? Are they all Hawaiian music? So there was a struggle. So they came to the conclusion let's put it in world music. And it's still there. Because they don't have a Hawaiian category. They just put the Hawaiian music mixed in with all the other musics that they can't really categorize. But they made headway with that. It is recognized. I think that was my point of sharing that, the legacy of people from that time. That bringing the music to the forefront and getting acknowledged beyond.
Yeah.
It was always Don Ho.
Oh yeah.
And before that was Alfred Apaka. These are, and then Izzy. So everybody, each generation had their vocalists or favorites that would go beyond Hawaii and make an impact. I thought Kaua'i Raichel was getting there, and then I guess he really got back into hula. And I don't know him personally, but it's ready for the next one. But Izzy's music went round and round and round and round through different owners. When Johnny Mello had it, he made his millions, and boy, then he sold the rights to music, to their own island heritage. They're going round and round again. Same songs into movies all over the world.
Yeah, lots of movies.
Right. That one, Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Yeah.
It went round and round and round again.
Yeah.
Yeah, millions and millions and millions. I don't think John DeMello really saw that. Was going to repeat itself.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the next owners that they're reaping all the rewards again. Pretty interesting. But what it does is it keeps us in the loop of our music of Hawaii being abroad, and wherever you go, the visitors all want to hear Izzy's version of somewhere. Even though the words are like he just sings from his heart, right? If you look at the original charts, and Izzy just sings the way he wants to sing. He makes his own words. And he does it to many songs. But he gets away with it, and he always did. Nobody will question him. But that song, wow, took care of his family, that's for sure.
That's good.
Oh, yeah, happy ending with him. You know, he's not with us, but he lives with us still yet.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, that's cool. You got to have so much, like, behind-the-scenes kind of time.
Lots. Yeah, lots. It's fun eating. It's fun being invited to his house when his mom, okay, Mom, the boy's here. Okay, make us breakfast. We would come from his camp at Kauai. Okay, Mom. 1 pot rice, 2 dozen eggs, and 1 slab bacon. And he looks at us. Chucky, what do you want to eat?
No. Oh, sound like my father.
Well, I know it's like, what about,
You
we're
know,
not going to eat that.
Yeah. No. I take a couple pieces of bacon, two eggs. Okay, Mom, you heard him.
Yeah.
And then she goes, is that all you're going to eat?
Wow.
Big difference. He could put them away. He could put it away.
Oh,
Yeah. It was always fun to eat with him.
that's major.
The whole pot. Poof. Rice.
2 dozen eggs, brother.
Oh, yeah. That's just breakfast.
Well, that's an interesting, like, with Hawaiian culture, right? Just like local culture is like the eating thing. So, like after I finished high school, and then I went to the mainland for a while and worked. It's just the culture of eating is so different, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, because in Hawaii, it's like very much like a sharing of like life and like community. In the mainland, it's kind of just like, oh, I'm hungry, let's get something to eat. You know, it's just like something you gotta check your boxes. You know, whereas like in Hawaii, like culturally, it's more of a like community event. You know, and it's it's like the breaking of bread to like share
It is the
yourself.
Breaking. It is the
You know what I
breaking
mean?
of bread.
And that's how you build a relationship. And even like us, we'll have people come down from the mainland, different business people, different other whoever, and then we'll take them out to eat, and it's so different than I think they've used to. Because it's like the talking and the camaraderie and the ordering a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like not holding back for like better or worse. You know, like it's this ability to like
No shade.
like share something.
Yeah, poo-poo's wide.
Yeah. Oh no, you always order way too much.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and that's something that's super interesting to me as like, cause that's my background is I went to culinary school, worked in New York and whatever, and then worked in all these restaurants. So like, it was just such a different cultural thing than it is here, you know? So I think that's something super interesting that it's like a lot of the time is always like the sharing, like where you can build relationship is based around that, like eating times. And that is so unique to Hawaii.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
And in some of our little, for lack of words, a little quirks, some of us, if you don't have best food mayonnaise on the side over there, it's like, it's not complete.
That's what I'm telling you. And that's what I try to tell everybody. Bro, my dad used to eat your beef stew, chili, beef stroganoff. Bruh. Everything.
I get one question. You ever ate mayonnaise with bananas?
Yeah.
Okay, you did.
Yeah.
Oh.
Of course, because I didn't have peanut butter.
Wait. So that's what people used to eat.
No, yeah, mayonnaise in the bread and banana.
Okay, so his girlfriend swears
That's
by it.
old school.
And we're like, what are you talking about?
No,
I never
it's
seen
old
it.
school.
It's old school. Okay, she got that from her grandpa is why.
It's old school.
yeah.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. We were introduced to peanut butter later, I think probably in the late 60s.
Yeah?
Yeah, the tourists that's on the park, and you're camping with the families, and so they put bananas. I mean, they cut the bananas and put peanut butter. It's like, wow, what is that?
Yeah.
oh, you guys got to try this. And that's it, right? You take one bite like, oh, yeah.
Yes. Chucky boy, good thing they had introduced that, because can you imagine a peanut butter mayonnaise smoothie? Ole. No way. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that's good to know, because I always talk crap there. I'm like, what you think? Eating peanut butter and bananas? I mean, no, mayonnaise and bananas. Okay, I can shut up now. But yeah.
I forgot about that one. That's true, though.
We were talking about it the other night as well. So I was like, wait, because I had never even heard about that before.
Oh, I've eaten that many times as a kid. Yeah, because we always had bananas. I mean, you're in the forest a lot, if not in the ocean, but you're hungry all the time.
Yeah.
As kids, I always had bananas. Mayonnaise was close by.
The interesting thing about like Hawaii too is it kind of stayed depression-ish for a long time, meaning like, the depression was like 30s, 40s, and then kind of switched up like in the 50s, like America in general kind of started to like have these jobs and you had like a more middle class. But like when I was a kid, so even when I was like 80s, 90s, my grandpa still used to steal like pepper and shoyu from McDonald's. Like, so I'd go to his house and it was all like bags from like Foodland, like the plastic bags. Oh, use this bag. Oh, here's the pepper. He'd throw you like a packet, like so it stayed for a lot longer than just like I think the mainland did.
Well, I don't think all families are like that. I understand what you're saying.
Oh yeah, my grandpa was.
I do understand. We weren't poor or anything like that, but our grandpa was. Yeah, we didn't have that.
Oh no.
Yeah, no.
Oh, my grandpa was like that.
Oh, he would tie us up. I think if we did something like that. Yeah, he was like. Grandpa was very straight.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My father would decline if you order from McDonald's, and he always get his McDouble, add mac sauce. Would never check the bag. But when he come home, if he open a burger and no more mac sauce, Chucky boy, Bradda would do a donut, whip him right back down, losing his mind. He always, I remember I'm in the car and I'm just like crying already because he's just snapping out. You know what I mean? But then, Bradda, these guys, they don't know what they're doing. How hard is it? I'm gonna tell him like, Dad, don't say anything. He pull up. It's like, hey, Bradda, you guys forgot to put the mac sauce. Boom. Oh, sorry, uncle. Hey, boom, get him. These guys, try down here. I'm like, oh, this guy, he really turned them on and off. You know what I mean? I trip out. But yeah, my father gotta have the mac sauce in his McDouble. Yeah, just sauce. I mean, even for me, bruh, right?
Yeah.
Chili pepper chicken. You better give me one little tub so I can dip inside. Yeah. And even sandwiches, like whatever the aioli is that they put lather, give me on the side for the fries.
Yeah. We all dippers.
Yeah, exactly.
Double dip.
Yeah, capital D.
Yeah, I'm going to bring another story in. And it's about food.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Double
as locals, you heard that story of that, the 2 dozen eggs, the one slab, bacon, blah, 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 the pot rice is. So there was a guy named Angelo Cicerone who moved from Manhattan to Honolulu. He just loves the music. But now he wants to take Izzy, myself, to New York for a concert. So I said, well, it'll be hard because, for one, I don't want to go to New York. And second, I don't think Izzy would like to. He's going to tell you stuff that he'll say stuff like, so what? Where's that? Where's that? Where's New York? You know what I mean? That's the kind of questions he would ask. We took him to the house, and it was breakfast time. But I wanted him to experience the meals at the Kamakavivole home. So, of course, he does his ordering, the norm. And then, so he looks at me and he looks at Angelo. And he says, okay, brother, come on, order. He goes, with this look on his face like, yeah, but isn't that for all of us?
Yeah.
And he goes, crazy. Your turn to order. And so he orders like one egg and maybe a piece of bread, whatever. He don't eat rice, right?
Oh.
Wait, so see, the mom brings out the food. I mean, the look on his face was like, he was terrified of. And then this guy too, Stephen Hall. Stephen Hall is another big eater. He sang with Peter Moon Band. Stephen could eat too. So he ate as much as Iz. And so when the food came, Izzy says to this is what Izzy says. He said, Angelo, brother, you need mayonnaise? And so Angelo goes, pardon me? He said, mayonnaise. Mayonnaise. And he goes, I don't need that on my bread, because he had a piece of bread.
Yeah.
He goes, no, for your eggs. And so he goes, for the eggs? He goes, yeah, like this. he takes this one, he starts throwing it on his eggs and on his rice and on his bacon. And he goes, okay. So he does the same thing. He didn't eat it. He couldn't stand it. He didn't know that Hawaiian people love mayonnaise.
Yeah.
We all do. I mean, it's just, not everybody does it, but a lot do. Especially the brothers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's for sure. That's our ketchup.
Yeah.
Of course, we wouldn't put ketchup too, but
Yeah.
I don't know, talk crazy.
it's the Hawaiian Thousand Island.
Yeah. No, for real. Bro, my father just mixed mayonnaise, ketchup, and then just on the omelets, bro. I tell you. You don't even see yellow. You just lather that omelet.
pink,
Yeah.
But anyway, I thought it. But Angelo's face, I can't describe it. It was so funny. Anyway, that was my Angelo story.
Oh, mayonnaise.
So you left all that then and just came to Kauai?
Yeah, and that was it.
You just one day like,
I mean, I actually finished the recording project and I never released it.
oh, crazy.
Oh.
So you just get them?
No, I don't want it.
Oh, you don't want
That
it?
kind of thing. Yeah, I just left everything.
Wow.
Yep.
Was
It
there like
just a cold, just poop, clean cut. I don't want to play anymore.
huh?
Yeah, I just got tired. I wanted to do something else.
Yeah.
You know, I just really got tired.
And then you moved here in '89.
Yeah.
And then what do you do when you moved there then? The music is done.
Music is done. So my mother-in-law has a 5-acre farm lot in Anahola. So my wife and I decided we want to build a house there. So I'm going to be a farmer. Tilled the whole thing, learned how to drive a tractor, the whole 9 yards. Dirt in my fingernails, all of the 9 yards. Calluses, but I had calluses on my fingers from guitar.
Just picking, huh?
You said
but
different kind now.
different kind calluses.
The kind like shovel callus.
But here was a neat thing. In fact, again, it involved music. So any musician that came to Kauai came to the farm to plant. They're always going to plant coconut trees. So Iz planted one.
Oh.
Makaha Sons planted. Crash, Kealoha planted. Anyway, all the musicians that would come here knew about the farm. So they would all want to plant a tree. Oh, Chucky, we want to plant one tree. Coconut tree. Yeah, I thought it would be pretty cool, right? But then Hurricane Iniki came.
Oh, shucks.
Yeah. And so that kind of, the farm was going. It was just awesome. It was such a wonderful experience. But then Hurricane Iniki just changed everything.
I mean, it's weird because I was like a little kid and it was cool for me.
Yeah.
Like it was you had like one longest summer vacation ever.
Sure.
But then now, like being older, you look back, you're like, oh.
Oh, Iniki itself. Yeah.
Well, just the whole like act of like the amount of stuff that closed, how long like took for even get anything out, and then you had to like go grab MREs and and all that stuff.
We drank a can of hot soda.
Yeah.
No
Oh.
ice.
Oh no, taking shower from the like bag outside,
Oh,
like
yeah.
like all that kind of stuff. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I didn't care that much because like you just it was also the most time you'd cruise with your or like we did cruise with our neighbors.
Sure.
Because like I had nothing else to do.
So you weren't home?
I wasn't born. When was Iniki? 92?
92.
92. I was born 94.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. Yeah, trust me. And that's even good because I know you thought I was born 92.
I thought it was his fault.
Oh, but I thought you was 18 in 92.
Yeah.
No, but the only story that I can, our roof had blow off when my family was inside, and my great grandpa, he was a pineapple farmer. He had his own pineapple plantation, and that's all the land that we live on now. But he was outside. We would call him They would call him Gigi, and I think I don't know what he was drinking, Budweiser or something. But when the hurricane was happening and thing was blowing, he was drunk outside, just trying to walk through like everyone's yard. So I just remember hearing that story. I'm like, this little Okinawan man was just almost at blow away.
Last thing on that music side, but he's a Cummings. Crash Kealoha is a Cummings. So,
from what?
Kauai.
Really?
Yeah, so you go find out his grandpa was the kahu for the Kapa'a First Hawaiian Church. And Waioli Church.
Oh, that's what you were. Yes.
Yeah, that Cummings.
Okay.
He's really proud of that. He was always proud of being a Cummings.
Big family.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Big family. Plenty of us. Yeah. I remember like 6th, 7th grade or something. Maybe 6th grade summer or 7. But anyway, Hawaii, everybody connected somehow, some way.
Sure.
You're just hoping it's not too connected. So I remember was talking to this girl in middle school and just texting. Okay, all right, I'll talk to you later. I gotta get ready for a party. She's like, okay, me too. Bradda. Next thing you know, I go to my Uncle Dustin's house and she's freaking over there. And I was pissed. I was like, what are you doing over here? She's like, oh, it's my family. What side? Oh, the auntie. I said, oh my gosh. Calabash. But then actually wasn't Calabash, was for real kind. Yeah. But, oh man, brutal. I'm like, we'll cut you off. Get away from me, cousin.
Nice. So then you do that.
Yeah.
You started farming, and then after the hurricane, switch gears or something?
Well, after the hurricane, we just were surviving, right?
Yeah.
Because there was nothing, just our business shut down. In fact, your dad and my wife were really good friends because the flower industry.
Yeah.
And we were the exporters of pineapple and papayas, and that industry died also. I'm really glad that at the time, the bank found favor in us because we had a note on the building.
What that mean?
Loan.
Mortgage.
Oh, okay.
Okay. You can interpret.
For the people who don't know, all one of you.
But anyway, so somehow we made it work because I want to say, even people say it took about 5 years, but to me it was about 7 years. Finally see life come, people come back to life and visitors and form of normalcy. Took about 7 years. And then we just continued doing that.
7 years after the Iniki, you saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
We continued to export pineapples and so forth. And eventually I got burnt out.
Yeah.
We did that till we still own the building and stuff. But then the museum.
So what year you started doing stuff over there?
I don't remember, but I know in 2015, the end of 2015 into 2016 is when I officially became the director. But 10 years prior, so whatever the math. 10 years prior to that, I was a volunteer to help with fundraising. / to just help the museum.
Revitalize them.
Well, absolutely. It was a museum. Let's just say that. It was just a museum.
Well, I'll tell you what, so we went last week, but honestly, we never did. I haven't gone since high school, I think.
Same.
So that would have been 2000.
Okay.
And the difference is night and day. Where it was to where it is now and the stuff that's there. Even just the stories kind of being told through the exhibits is so much more and different. It's pretty cool. I urge everybody to go.
100%.
Yeah.
If you guys are on Kauai ever visiting, please make the time to go check out the Kauai Museum.
Yeah, because it's sick.
Because what is the ship that
Sunk
you
to
could,
Hanalei.
that's
the Royal Yacht.
The Royal Yacht.
Yeah, it was owned by Kamehameha II. It's the same yacht that kidnapped the last king on Kauai, Kaua'i, and it sits on the bottom of Hanalei Bay today, but it sank in the 1800s.
And you guys have artifacts and stuff. It's crazy. It's stuff you hear from, in movies are made of, and
sure,
to see it, I'm like, whoa.
In 1995, the Smithsonian Institute came down and they located the yacht, and so for 2 years did their thing, and in 2015 it comes to the museum, and rightfully so, because today tell the story without knowing we were going to be the repository of the artifact. So it was a godsend. It was confirmation of what we're doing to share the bigger story and the backstories and the deeper stories of our paintings of the sunken ship. Or the yacht, real quickly, the backstory to that, it was built in Massachusetts, and it was the first luxurious open ocean yacht and the fastest to ever be built in America at that time in the 1800s. It was fitted with the first flushing toilet. They had deck lights that today inspired sunroofs and stuff.
Oh.
But the deck lights was to light up the bottom. It's kind of no-brainer, right? The design of it was beautiful. And in the 1800s, if you see what we have in the museum, the interior of the yacht, of the ship, it's mind-blowing because it's designed for a princess, designed for royalty. Even the dinnerware came from the Ming dynasty, things like that. I don't think any of the wines, the type of alcohol had there was only the best, though, from different parts of the world. So this guy that owned this just wanted the best of the best because his goal was to marry a princess. His friend was Bonaparte Napoleon, was supposed to introduce him, as the story goes. He was supposed to go meet Bonaparte and be introduced to a princess so he could marry.
Like an Italian princess?
Or whatever princess.
Anyone.
Any princess.
He just wanted a
Whichever
princess.
He just wanted to marry a princess.
Wow.
Yeah, and obviously, I mean, too, Napoleon would probably be an Italian or French princess, right? One of those European types. So he decides to build a bigger one. Bigger yacht. That was too small. So anyway, moving forward on that yacht, it was time to sell, and everybody knew about this king in Hawaii that loved ships. So your chances of selling it is like better than good if you bring it to Hawaii. And that's what happened. They sailed the yacht into Hawaii. He saw it. He wanted it. Ended up giving £1 million of iliahi or sandalwood.
Interesting.
Yeah, £1 million today. That's, you can't even fathom what the cost of that is.
Wow.
Because that's something, maybe we don't have time
Yeah.
today, but the sandalwood industry is something I want to know about that. That's super interesting.
And the Chinese people, they revere that wood, or it's fragrant. You know, it has this exotic smell to it that lasts for hundreds of years.
Oh.
Well, that's why they make their chests anyway.
What do you mean their chess?
Their wood chest. Like,
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
Okay.
no.
Wooden chest.
Good.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. I see all the way over here. I heard chess. I said, chess pieces. Interesting. Interesting.
It's all good.
Yeah, I was like,
I love it.
they playing games and they smelling good.
It smell good.
Yeah, I was like, because a chess game, I know cannot last for 100
Smell
years.
the queen.
Me, I would just decline, forfeit.
Sorry, that's
Yeah.
my bad on that.
Oh no.
But they wanted to make furniture
Yeah.
with that wood because of the fragrance that it gave off.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's super interesting to me because, like, there's a big period of time where, like, especially during the Kamehameha reign, Hawaii was super rich, yeah?
Well, let's put it, rich in resources.
Resources which traded for...
Well, iliahi was when they discovered that the whalers and the shipping industry, that wood was like incredible worldwide. They wanted to get their hands on the iliahi, and the kings really kind of overdid it. All the ali'i, they overdid it. They overharvested. I mean, at one time on Kauai, Hanamaulu was filled with iliahi.
Interesting.
Filled. There's not even a trace of it anymore.
Wow.
But yeah, that was our gold. That was our diamonds.
Well, because, like, I would say almost to, like, Kalakaua, there was, like, lots of money, yeah? Like, I mean, building of Iolani Palace. Like a whole bunch of things where you're like, oh, they shelled out some cash.
Yes, they did.
Like, educating, like, in England. Like, there's a bunch of stuff.
That's a good thing you brought up. Case in point on that one. So Princess Ruth, so she comes from the Kamehameha line, right? So Princess Ruth decides she wants a castle like his. So as she was building, she was land rich. The depth of Princess Ruth, the land, let me share this one. Anyway, fast forward, she never sees it. It doesn't, she dies before it's completed. But today they call it Central Intermediate School. That was her house. So if you're in Honolulu, you look. They may have changed the name recently, but it was always known as Central Intermediate School. If you look at it, it was a castle. The way it's similar look to Iolani Palace, but her money came from here, Kauai. She sold lands to the right. She sold to the Rices and the Wilcoxes. So they split it.
Oh,
Like Kipukai, Puhi, yeah. So wherever Wilcox land is, Grove Farm is, that came from Princess Ruth.
heavy.
Yeah, so she needed more monies to finish building her home, and but she never lived to see it. But bulk of the monies came from here. The rest of her land, let me tell you, this is how important it is. It goes to Pauahi, Kamehameha schools.
Oh,
Yeah. Bishop Estate, that's from Princess Ruth.
wow. She owned all that then, just
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. She was a neat person, She was a good lady. Such a good lady. Land rich.
Oh, that's crazy. That.
Yeah. So the connection to Bishop Estate and Kaua'i and Princess Ruth is all one. But the Rice, the Rice and the Wilcox families at that time were really neat people. They literally spoke the language.
Oh wow.
Queen Liliuokalani loved these two guys. Mr. Rice and Mr. Wilcox.
Oh, wow.
Totally respected them.
And then they were what, like OG missionaries, families?
Yeah, they were the original ones.
Yeah,
They
originals,
were-
right?
Yeah.
Oh,
They were.
William Hyde Rice.
Yeah, William Hyde Rice, Charlie Rice, all of them. That line, yeah, yeah, William Hyde Rice.
Wow. You know how I know? The antique bottles.
Oh,
When I read on, I said, I, William H. Rice.
all of these missionaries really contributed a lot to Kauai. Really did.
Well, it's kind of interesting because it's very complicated, yeah.
It's extremely complicated.
Because there was, I mean, just everybody was kind of mixed at one point. You know, whereas like, you know, a lot of guys my age now, they get very like black and white with things.
Sure,
But there's a lot of complexity with people, good, bad, and the other.
that's right.
You know,
Absolutely right. There's the good and the bad missionaries.
yeah.
There's the good and the bad whalers. There's the good and the bad, every Hawaiians.
Yeah. And that's kind of like part of why we want to talk to you too, just to get like the straight,
Yeah,
what is the, like, who are those people? What did they do? What did Lily Okalani do when she came to Kauai? You know, that's super interesting.
she wanted to know how her people were. She wanted to know if they were good. You know what I mean? If they were fed, they had food. That she had a caring heart. She really had a passionate heart. I mean, she went to Kalaupapa. Who wants to go there at the time of those leprosy disease, right? She didn't care. She just wanted to make sure they were okay. She wasn't the only ali'i, right? Several of them went. Queen Kapi'olani, Queen Emma, they all went down there because they're, the beauty to our ali'i, they were true servants of the people. They were voices of the people. And they always were on the lookout of their people, making sure their well-being was good, was pono. And I remember you just said that, Kauai was rich. Yeah, resources here, if you live on an island with water and you live in a desert without water, there's two kinds of civilization is different. When you have water, you can live with resources. We're really, really a vibrant community. And I'm talking back in the day, and we were by ourselves. Kauai is known as the separate kingdom. I shared that with you. For great reasons. And I always share this, that it's important to note that at the time, there's no technology at all or satellites. It wasn't easy to come to Kauai. Some will say, I won't go there, but they kind of, we were always that separate island. We were always that island. It wasn't easy to get here. It was a benefit. It was to our advantage. Because they say that, we say it with humility that Kauai is the only unconquered island. We humbly say it. But in history, it's very true. No matter who tried to take over Kauai, it never happened. And a lot really starts off just by geographically, the unpredictable channel of Kai'e'ie with the rogue waves that come even today, 40 to 50-foot waves. Listen to Navigator Nainoa Thompson say it. Yeah, you don't sleep from Oahu to Kauai. You better be on watch. So whoever's on watch better be up, because you are the guy going to let us know that the waves are coming. Because they can feel it, they can see it, they know. But it comes out of nowhere, those 40, 50-foot rogue waves.
Oh.
And that's one of the reasons why we were a separate kingdom, because we had our own invisible wall there. But by we're just rich in water here. So getting back to people in the Sahara, and here the personalities are different, everything, So back in the day too, you had to follow the rules. It was very mean the rules were strict there back then. The couple system was strict. Because if you break the rule, you die.
Oh.
Period. There's no ends or buts, and ifs and buts. It's just you die. It was a really wonderful form of discipline to live. But as I say, the word vibrant is because of our food source and our water source. And you couldn't be lazy. You better not be lazy. You're out of your place to live. It's one of the basic rules is to do your part. You live it, you take your part. You malama, you keep your area clean. You keep your land division, or your ili, as we call that. You keep it clean, because that's where your family lives. And if you grow up sweet potatoes, then you're going to pay your taxes with the sweet potato. But if you're a fisherman, you're going to pay your taxes with fishermen if it's fish. So everybody knew the rules. Some of the rules was like an overkill to me, but I think I say that with heart, because I like discipline. Although I I'm one that I break rules.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to tell me this is the rule, I'm going to break it. It's just how I am. But I think I would have made it back then. I could have made it. Personally, it's because I like structure. So there was a lot of structure back then. But yes, Kauai was very vibrant, rich in resources. So when you talk about Kalakaua and stuff, there's the other side of the stories. And we love Kalakaua because he married one of our own, right? He married Kaua'i's granddaughter, Kapiolani. And, we all know out there that to marry anyone from Kauai is to elevate your status. So it is known that back in the day, they want to marry someone from an ali'i from Kauai. Case in point, when they kidnapped our king, the reason was is for Ka'ahumanu to marry Kaua'i, Kauai king, to elevate her status. There's nothing about sex or anything. It was about status. She didn't only marry him. She also married eldest son, Homehome. She also married 2 sons, Keali'i Ahonui. Not only is she a sergeant, she becomes a lieutenant and now a captain. And you know what I mean? She just elevated her way up there. Kalakaua marries Kapiolani, whoop, automatically elevates who he is as an ali'i. It's complicated, though. I won't get into that. But basically, that's what it is to marry Kauai. That's why I married my wife.
Elevate your status.
You is elevated, brother. You's up there. No wonder I kept looking up at you like that when you talk.
You know, when you look at our collection of umeke, when you look at our collection of wooden bowls, it's hard to fathom that they created that with a stone. You know, we call it ko'i, our chisels, right? Of course they did it for centuries. Everybody did, Egypt, everywhere. But with the wood that we have, and to see it today, that things that were made back centuries ago, masters of wood or experts have a hard time saying if it was done by machine or done by hand. The reason why I say that is when they come here to see our collection, I will ask them, so what do you think this one was, hand or machine? I put them on the spot.
Yeah.
And probably 2 out of 5 will make mistakes. I don't all get it.
Wow.
Impeccable work that was done. And then again, back in the day, everybody was an expert in what they did because that's all you did. If you were a canoe maker, that's what you do. You made your umeke or your bowls, that's all you do for generations because it's passed down. And unfortunately, like today, your family has a business. By the time it reaches the 3rd generation, they're off doing something else. Or it probably kind of goes to the wayside. There are pieces that we have. By the time it reached the 3rd generation, he was selling already. Selling the pieces and not caring for it because it belonged to the ali'i. Just what goes on in business. Your dad had his flower shop. By the 3rd generation, not the same. They want to do that. They become doctors, dentists, whatever, or not interested. Far and few, you have companies that stay for generations. It does happen, but most times,
No.
Yeah, not at all. So the legacy of your family of canoe makers and so forth kind of just goes to the wayside. Mm-hmm. Yeah, our bird catchers or the Kiamanu. That is another one that one is a little different because bird catchers are in their own world. They live in the Vaokua. They live in the highest part of the mountains because they want to be with the best birds. But they're the masters of gathering feathers, the hulu, to make the cloaks, to make the capes, or the ahu'ula, as we call it. We have great stories of Kiamanu, the bird catchers, especially when our kids come. We get into character. We become the bird catchers. Fingernails are like long. Their hair is,
Wait, try tell me then.
Kiamanu?
Yeah.
Oh, so.
But even like describe them, like how you just
describe them?
Like long nails. I was like, oh wait.
Yeah, because they live in the mountain.
Yeah.
They don't come out. Today's Kiamanu or now they're the ethnologists, botnologists, or whatever, or birdologists, or whatever the word is for these bird experts that live. They stay in the mountain. They come out smelling like hippies. I mean, sorry, they come out. You know what I mean? Like, hauna, cause but because they don't know how to bath, they don't know how to keep themselves with the natural herbs that we. So the Kiwanis, they actually took good care of themselves. They knew how to bathe. So hygiene was pretty cool. They knew how to, But one thing that they did have was, of course, there's no barbers, right? No manicurists, right? The nails would get long, but they used it as to their advantage with the birds. They almost became like the bird. They became like the birds because they would mimic the birds. And there was a trust factor that took place. The birds would trust the same person right here. Oh, friend, he's not going to kill me. I know him. That kind of thing, where the harvest time was during molting season, when the birds go through the molting time. We always say to the kids, okay, this is what the birds did. So, the Kiomanu put their palekepau or this sap. This is our Hawaiian glue, right? The gorilla glue. Would put the palekepau sap all on the branch. They knew what bird was going to come to this branch, that branch, this branch, that branch, because they were creatures of habit. But during molting season, we always would say this, yep, they land and they go, uncle, take my feathers, time molting. So, but they stuck, they cannot move. They put their claw on their legs onto the branch and they can't move. So they pluck the feathers and then they just put kukui nut oil, let them go. And that's all they did, generations. So most of the Kiamanu had no children until, I want to say, on the Big Island, 1800s. Because the earlier bird catchers were all single. Nobody wanted to marry a bird catcher, right? Like, your husband, MOKI the bird catcher. What?
Yeah.
Right.
He never home.
Yeah.
That's right.
He don't come home, that guy. That's why I weave him on small bags. So he can, once he fill up, he come right back.
Yeah. But it wasn't until later that became a normal thing where they didn't have to live in the mountain. They would trek to the mountain. And then they had their families. And they would train their sons to collect bird feathers. The kahuna pule tell you when to do certain things. He knew. See, we all know that. As Hawaiian people, we lived with nature, so we understood nature. It was time, for example, a tree to make the canoe. It's really, it's common knowledge about that. But there were certain birds that would lead the kahuna to the right tree. Pretty interesting. And that bird would say, "This is the tree," and he would tell the canoe makers what tree and when, and so you do all the protocols, all the different type of chants and so forth and so forth. And canoe, and it's normally the perfect tree back in the day. I think the Inuits, still do it in Alaska.
So then the feather pickers, did they make the capes too, or is that different?
Different.
And when did they start that? So, it's one of those things where you always see it, like, growing up in, like, pictures or in class. But, like, what is, like, the origins of it? Did it come from when they came over? Or did it start, like, once they moved here?
That is a good question. I've never had that question put forth. But to our knowledge, the ahu'ula was always there. And it's just the Hawaiian thing. We'll say, what about the Maoris? Well, the Maoris came from here. So that's why it continued there in Aotearoa. Ahu'ula is something the Hawaiians did with pride. It's several reasons. Of course, it's sacred, right? There's a lot of mana. But it pretty much, it's like the military. You can tell who the general is, with the insignia. You can tell who the sergeant is. And in our case, it's a shorter cape and so forth. That long, beautiful cloaks or ahu'ula. It was for the king. But that really is all about status. Also, it's about, colors has a lot to do with it too. Like yellow. Yellow is nobility. So Kamehameha's ahu'ula was yellow. That took 8. That was prophesied, as a matter of fact. That's a good story, what is a decade? What is a decade?
10 years. Century, thinking.
Okay, yeah, no. It was 8 decades that it was prophesied we must make this ahu'ula for the new king to be born. So it was 8 decades to the day it was prophesied that Kamehameha was born. And it was completed, and that became his. It was the yellow one, just nobility.
It must have been big, no?
Well, it took 1 million feathers.
Oh, so much because you can only you could only pick up feathers, no?
That's right.
Even molting season, me, if I was imagine
right.
that, I would just nobody looking at.
Yeah. No, you're right. So bird, it's black and yellow. It's mainly black with like a few yellow feathers.
Crazy.
That is the ultimate feather. So that's Kamehameha's.
How many birds had yellow? Or was it just...
Oh, no, you had yellow birds. And, I'm not the bird. I'm not the
I know it.
birdologist. Right?
I know. I used to work Wahoos, and all the bird watchers, photographers would come in there. They had like one set rate for 20 guys. They're like, look, we caught this bird on camera. I was like, that's just a minor bird, brother. that's minor. That. You gotta go a little bit more high in elevation.
Only egrets,
Yeah. Look at this gray beak. It's a lemon hackle. It's a dove, that.
Ahu'ula and the colors, Kaua'i's red. What does that symbolizes, right? What's the symbolism of red? The blood quantum.
Fool.
Loaded.
Yeah. Even the trim red.
So color has a lot to do.
Oh, that's mean though.
Kaua'i preferred one with a lower crown. I want to think that Kaua'i preferred that just because I think it's more comfortable. Farewell, like one helmet with Bird of Paradise on the top.
Yeah. My neck too flimsy, This traps he cannot hold.
So.
Yeah, I mean, even like the uniqueness between the different islands.
Oh, yeah.
And then,
absolutely.
I mean, this is a question I have to. What about just within Kauai? Because you have Kamuli, which is a later king, right before Kamehameha.
Okay, so I did share with you, but one of my favorite stories really is Kukona. People hear the name Manokalanipo. People hear that ties in with Kukona. So Kukona is the father, Manokalanipo is his son. They're actually the number 7, number 8, Ali'i Moku, chief of the island. Every island had their Ali'i Moku. During the 1400s, I just love the story, only because, for one, not many know it. 2, we all know Kamehameha's stories, and that's all we all knew for years and generations. But knowing stories of other chiefs and kings of other islands, that is what is intriguing to me. So, studying the chiefs or the Ali'i Moku of Kauai, Kona stood out a lot, along with his son. And the reason was you would hear Kauai o Mano, or Kauai a Mano, Kauai Mano, or Manokalanipo. Well, each island is called by a chief that really was outstanding. Keawe. Keawe is from the Big Island, so Moku o Keawe. Kahelelani is a chief of Ni'ihau. Kahelelani o Moku o Kahelelani. Pi'ilani, Maui, right? And so forth, and so forth. Manokalanipo was Kauai. And the old folk, when you hear these names, they're old. They come from the old way of speaking. They don't say Big Island. Oh, Moku o Keawe. That old pattern. So it always intrigued me that Manokalanipo, who was he? Reading the different historians that we have, I have my favorites, Malo, but anyway, Manokalanipo's dad was known as a warrior or a chief of great chivalry. That I like. That tells me he's very kind. Not only that, but he was also known as a king that loved to take naps. And, when I share that, people are always like, naps? Yeah, take a nap. There's a lot of places in history that, in his stories that, anyway, it comes into play as I share this. One day, the advisors or the kahuna nui to Kukona says, so I'll keep it light. It's easier this way. Chief, we're going to get a war. We're going to have a battle. And all Kukona said to his advisors, so what's the outcome? All he said was, Lanakila. Victory. So Kukona says, okay, summon my son. So Manokalanipo meets with his dad, and they sit and talk with the advisors around it. They have their little circle, and they're discussing about this battle that's going to take place. Kukona says to his son, devise a plan. I like that. Putting trust in his son, too. Plus, he's probably, the next leader, right? So they devise a plan. Fast forward, time moves on. The advisor says to Kukona, they're coming. So I'll stop right there. This all takes place when a chief named Kalaunui from Moku o Keawe, Big Island, decides, now this is the 1400s, I want to conquer all the islands. And he has this drive to take over. Why? He wants to be the Ali'i Nui. What is the Ali'i Nui? The king of all. Because we had no Ali'i Nui. We had Ali'i Mokus, or chiefs, kings of each island. So he gathers his warriors and he heads to Maui, and boy, battle was fierce and just they couldn't end it. They were pretty even, and they'd make the decision to team up. So now they decide to join forces and head to Molokai, and then that's where my favorite thing was, it's like Ponoho Kamehameha against Kailua High School or whatever, or Kapa'a High School in this case. Kapa'a. So that's you know what that is, right? You do the numbers. Right?
Yeah, numbers in a game. Yeah.
But anyway, Kapa'a was good the other year. Anyway, so they slaughtered Molokai, and now so it's 3 islands. You go to Oahu, 3 islands. Do the math, slam Oahu, and now it's time to be one big army to battle Kukona on Kauai. And so as they're coming over, they make it through Kai'e'ie, but then the kahuna says to Kukona, they're coming. They're almost here. Okay, so now fast forward on this one. The plan is in place, and it was a great plan. These warriors came, and if you've been to Kauai, and if you do, there's a place we call Keone Loa. And some of you, if you've been down by the Hyatt area, you call it shipwrecks. You know where I'm talking about. So there's a little rock formation that sticks in the ocean. So the chiefs were about that area. It's just an approximate place they were. But it's a great vantage point to see. They're standing on that big lookout area. So the warriors that came to Kauai fell for the trap. The plan was to lure them in this one particular valley that we call Wahiava. And it worked. So while the battle is going on there, Kukona sends his men to surround 4 chiefs that are looking at the battle going on at Keoneloa, shipwrecks. They capture the 4 kings, and that's where, it's like game over. Put the football over your head, up, out. Done. So the battle is done. And the first thing that Kukona says to Manukalanipo is, please mend the wounded, then bury the dead. Those that could travel, he said, mend the wounded and send them home to their respective mokus, respective islands, which is what they did. Normally, you kill them all. That's the norm. But this is where Kukona gets that reputation of such a wonderful man of chivalry. But the 4 kings are house arrest. They're here under arrest. So fast forward about a year and a half later, they're eating lunch, and Kukona is going to take a nap. Anyway, okay, so they're eating lunch, the 4 chiefs, and Kukona decides to take a nap. In the meantime, Kalaunui, the chief from Big Island, says to the rest of the chiefs, he wants to plot to kill him. He wants to kill Kukona. And right there, the Maui chief, Kamalu, says, Ole, no, he fed us. He kept us alive. He mended all our men, he sent them back home to their respective islands. And you want to kill him? And then so right there, Kalaunui said, no, we can't do that. We can't kill him. But right then is when Kukona wakes up. And the first thing out of his mouth was, I had a dream that I was going to be killed. But it really wasn't a dream. It was kind of wink, wink. He was up all the time. He just closed his eyes and he heard the whole thing. He heard the whole conversation. But he did say this. He said to them, it is time for you to go home, go back to your respective moku. And before you do that, we must make a pact. And I'm going to share this. It's going to be called Kalailoa Ya Kamalu Ohua, or the long peace of Kamalu Ohua. So he's honoring the Maui king because the Maui king was the one that stopped Big Island King from killing Kukona. And he did say that I have one wish. This is what I just one wish that you do. From now on, you will never do battle with Kauai and Ni'ihau ever. And so they granted that. They came to that place where they all agreed to keep the peace. And it really worked because from 1400s to 1800s, that's 400 years of peace that we had on Kauai. Is the bomb. It's unbelievable. And in the 1800s, everybody knows Kapu was broken. And we know who broke the peace. It was Kamehameha wanting to conquer Kauai. So Kamehameha did the same thing that Kalaunui did. Literally traced the whole thing, except he never made it here. That's the difference. They all made it to Kauai, and we know the result. Whereas Kamehameha never made it to Kauai. First time he tried, as they were coming through the channel, rogue waves came out of nowhere. And about a third, just guesstimation, of his warriors got swallowed up by the waves. So he had to turn around. Some of his warriors made it here, just a handful. We know what happens. Because we knew that they were coming. Mm-hmm. The kahuna knew anyway. But so second time he does it, he never get to leave the island. And this was a big fleet of warriors that he was going to bring ships, cannons, rifles, and we still had our, sticks and stones over here. If you do the math, it's a slaughter for Kauai. But cholera sets in on Oahu, devastates his warriors. So many died. Kamehameha himself got cholera, but he was so strong that he lived through it. He kind of pulled through. But it's on the third attempt, he never got off the ground. But he says to his advisors, what must he do, right? So the bottom line was he must make peace. That is the whole gist of that. He had to make peace. That was what he should have done in the very beginning. Because even Kaua'i wanted peace. But guess what? They were always prepared to go to battle, both sides. And it took years for them to trust each other. I think about 5 years of sending warriors. Have I told you this part? No. I can tell you one part. Okay, this is pretty cool. So he sends a junior chief. And it's kind of like this. I'm just going to lighten it just a bit. Xavier, grab your canoe. Go to Kauai and tell Kaua'i we want to start the peace talks. And then Junior Ali'i is like, Uncle, I don't want to go by myself. They're going to kill me. Get over there. So, he's the junior chief, right? By himself. Well, weeks go by. Xavier he hasn't returned. But guess what? Next one. Okay, MOKI, grab your canoe. Get on there. Go to Kauai. We need to start the peace talks. He doesn't return. Unbelievable. So they finally send the big cheese. He sends a ship, one of the captains. Now they're going to come. Let's see what's going to happen now. But anyway, they come to Kauai, and they're being welcomed. Oh, how's it? And who do they see? They see Xavier and MOKI. Cuz,
living our best lives.
You know that? Oh, cuz, look, I get one wife.
Yeah.
I get house. They build me one house. I ain't going back to my uncle. He going to throw me under the bus.
Yeah.
It's that kind of see? So that's Kauai. Just really welcoming. True story, But that went on and on and on and on. And so they finally came to that place of trusting each other. And then they had the peace talks at Pakaka on Oahu. And that was in 1810. That took place. And maybe I shared just a little bit of it real quick. Kaua'i and Kamehameha meet. They're on a ship. First thing that Kaua'i, or our king, says to Kamehameha was, my island, my people, what's in it is yours. Sort of like that. And Kamehameha says, no, your island, your people, what's in it you keep. And you continue to rule. That part of history, when he said you continue to rule, is unbelievable, because in the 1400s, when Kukona sent the chiefs home, he also said to them, go back to your respective moku or islands, and you continue to rule. That was huge. Because he conquered them, Kukona should have been the Ali'inui. He should have been the Kamehameha of the time. He believed that everybody should rule their own moku. That's a beautiful thing. But in Kamehameha's case, the peace talks was probably the most beautiful thing. Not all were in agreement. Because one of his high priests, or the Kahuna Nui, one of them committed suicide because in his eyes he failed the battle. He was a failure. During this whole course of the peace talks, celebration, blah, 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 a guy named Isaac Davis, who was one of two advisors to Kamehameha, befriended Kaua'i, or our king. On the way to a celebration, he says to our king, to Kaua'i, brother, don't eat the food. What did Kaua'i do? Got his entourage, gathered them. They came back to Kauai. In history, that night, Isaac Davis dies. They gave him the food. They gave him Kaua'i's food. And we know this. Kamehameha came to this beautiful place. He wanted peace too, right? But we know that the plot to kill Kaua'i was without he had no knowledge. We know that. We totally know that. He came to that place already like, okay, let's just malama each other, right? Let's care for each other. A lot of his warriors, in their eyes, they failed. They never conquered. So it's like, you guys never beat Punahou yet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those kind of situations. So I think it's important to note, and I lightened it up a bit, but the key was, yes, we are the unconquered island, but we don't boast. It's just history. Mm-hmm. We share history because Kamehameha, Kaua'i, Kukona, they're all connected. They're all tied into each other for generations, through the royal line. Generations, they're just marry each other. I'm gonna stop right there.
No, that's all.
Because there's a lot I can share.
That's why we're going hana ho, and we're going to keep.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's why we would probably
okay.
have you on again.
Yeah, if you
brother.
like, we're down.
Oh no, absolutely. And there's a lot of stuff to share.
No, that's the thing. Is
Yes.
because today we just wanted to kind of like introduce you and then
thank
get
you.
these stories and
Kind of what you do,
Yeah.
at Kauai Museum, and
Sure.
kind of give people a little bit one taste. I mean, like you said, it's endless. The stories can go.
I think this. I can next time. Okay, you want me next time? We can go into the surfing stories and stuff.
I mean we can go in.
Right.
Yeah.
The surfing stories kill.
Yes.
So
See,
I'm gonna take you back to the 1400s too on that one.
Oh, interesting.
that kind of surfboard, this
Yeah.
thick.
Oh no, I'm gonna talk about on one Wahine Koa they call her.
perfect.
Kelea was her name.
Kelea.
Oh, she's not only beautiful, she could surf.
Bruh,
She would
the
rip.
double threat.
Talking about Kelea and how the surfing industry changed
Mm-hmm.
time. Good stories. And who introduced surfing outside of Hawaii? They're gonna be surprised.
Oh, well, and we're going to leave them on cliffhanger of that. Because for those of you at home, tune in to Chucky Boy's next appearance on Howsdis podcast. Chucky, I just want to, honestly, bro, thank you so much for taking the time and, coming into our space and sharing knowledge and, for the people at home
Well,
and for me.
I don't deserve to be here. It's an old dinosaur dude, and I apologize for. I don't know how we got into the music thing, but that was just part of my life too.
No,
Yeah.
it's good. It's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they get choke stories.
Good. Because we get choke cameras ready for capture. No, but again, Chucky Boy, thank you so much
Yeah.
for
We
coming
appreciate
on.
it.
Oh yeah.
But everybody, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of How's This Podcast. For those of you tuning in from Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, it doesn't matter. It's all love. We really appreciate you guys. And I just want to give a special shout out to all of my Patreon members. We wouldn't be here without you guys. And again, one more round of applause for brother Chucky Boy. Chalk. Thank you so much, Fa.
Thank you. Hello.
Easy.
I just hope it does fine with you guys.
No,
that's awesome.
That's cherry.
Yeah.